Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well on this Tuesday evening. I figured I had a chance to kind of do another tape, so I'm going to kind of do one and give you guys some of my background on communication with women and SR. So this is something that's one of our viewers, Sisco, wanted to talk about, and we also had some people talking about how to stop conversations. So we'll talk about this a little bit in the form of communication and semen retention and celibacy and brahmacharya and all that. All right, let's do some shout outs before we do that. I hope you guys are doing well. If you guys are conquesting yourselves, conquesting things around you. Also, thank you for the likes. Thank you for all the feedback. I have a bunch of things to go back to look at for topics and shout outs and things like that. But let me kind of finish up with some of the lists that I had here. D3, BRION, thank you, my friend. AMTCH, F80. Jason Jones, thank you, my friend. YF, thank you. Toneymoney, thank you. Donovan Jaden, thank you. Conscious Healing, thank you, my friend. User, thank you. Foster Badiaks, thank you. Lego King is cool, thank you as usual, Lego King. Oleg, as usual, thank you. Dot Dude, DN, thank you, my friend. Don Trump, thank you, my friend. God's Gladiator, another common shout out, thank you, my friend. Alex Masters, another one, thank you. User, second time. TKO, thank you, my friend. On the booster, I have 196 days here. I hope you keep going, my friend. Hizkiyahu, thank you, my friend. Nathan Darby 2, thank you, my friend. Noah Hyde Edward, thank you. Sahil Sharma, thank you, my friend. John Jennings, thank you. Users again, thank you. Third one, Jon the Dawn, thank you. Alan Fitzy, Derivative, and Alfonso Peraz. Thank you guys very much for your comments. All right. So at 2 minutes and 6 seconds, let's talk about this a little bit. Now, we're talking about how to communicate with women. Now, by background, as I've been teaching, I'm 63, so I've been in education for over 40 years as an administrator, as a dean in colleges levels, and different things like that. Also teaching many years in the area of communication in colleges and high schools, and doing a lot of educational research and a lot of educational types of things to help companies, whether it's consulting or things like that. So communication is something that I focus a lot on because I was basically very shy when I was younger. And so I went to school and had a great teacher who taught me how to gain some confidence as a communicator when I was younger and had very low self-esteem. And part of the problem, obviously, is how to communicate with women. Now, the key thing that we're talking about here is the idea that you have to think in terms of how and what is the purpose you're communicating to. This is the whole key when it comes to communicating with women in my realm when it comes to semen retention and how you look at things. Now, let's take a step back for a second to kind of talk about why this is important. So you're going to get approached by a lot of women for many reasons nowadays. First of all, the energy level you have is unbelievable when it comes to retention. And the more you're retaining, women will see you as a man of power because they don't see men of power who can control themselves and can transmute that energy very often. And so you're going to stick out like a sore thumb with everybody around you. That's an old saying. You're going to stick out and you're going to basically be someone that the women will gravitate to. They will stare at, they will look at, because they don't know why you're so different. Now, you know this. And suppose you can talk with them about it, but women sometimes get upset when you talk to them about retention because they do not want you retaining. They want you giving your seed to them, especially when it comes to procreation. So their whole biological function is for you to give them your semen. But you're trying to hold on to your semen as long as you can to transmute yourself to becoming as more important as you can, your high value as you can. The old saying is always true. If you give yourself to the woman so much, a lot of women, they don't want you anymore because you've lost all your draining. Your energy is a different level. And you actually become more simpest as time goes on. You lose more of that masculine quality because you're giving so much to the female. This is why you have to be very careful in why you're approaching women in the first place. And obviously, if you're with somebody and you're procreating, that's one thing. But the old idea is that even when that is over with, you should really practice the monk mode. Or if you're going to have intercourse with your wife and you're going to go ahead and focus on that, then you've got to learn to try to not release as often as possible. And I know this is not an easy thing, and this is not something that we're taught in society. We're taught the opposite now over the last 60, 70 years, that you need to be releasing all the time. It's healthy for you. Well, you know how my feelings about that. And we'll talk about that in one of the next ones coming in about the health components of semen itself. All the benefits and things you're losing by losing this all the time. You're giving a part of yourself up. But guys, you have to realize that men are easily removed from a situation. The females, now we're talking about more old-fashioned females. There's the modern females I'm not positive about in some cases, but females want to have children. They want to push society ahead. So a man, even up to 100 years old, can impregnate a woman, multiple. But women are the ones having the children. And so they have to be careful, and they have to figure out who is it that they want to have their father, their child. They have to kind of look at that and say, what type of person am I creating from this? This is why when we talk about getting married and all these type of things, you can see that women, even though we talk about this, men and women, they have a biological nature. Their instincts tell them, is this somebody that I should be with, have married kids with, and what kind of kids will we have? Right? This is very important because a woman is attracted to that because of that mating instinct, and males are too. Now, this is something that's subconscious, and you've talked about it sounds more barbaric than anything else, but it's really more of a subconscious idea. So we go back to conversations. Why are we communicating? Now, when we talk about communication, we're obviously focusing on the fact that you are going to get a lot of women coming to you. Now, if you in the past, before you started all this retention, and this is what happened to me, you were chasing women around and lots of times getting rejected or not communicating well, things like that, you really felt yourself really frustrated all the time. But this was the wrong approach that I figured out. Once I retained and once I'm now building monk mode, all of a sudden my confidence grew. And it's because I kept all my nutrients. And as a result of that, females saw that. And I wasn't desperate. I wasn't chasing them. In fact, I could care less. And obviously, in this case, because I'm married, I even could care less even more. Right? I was focusing on goals and things like that. So it doesn't really matter if women, if you're married or whatever it might be, they will approach you because they see you as a better option that they ever have. Because they see that energy. Now, obviously, you are the one in control now. Before, as I did years ago before I got married, I'd be chasing women, and I was never in control of the situation. I was always dependent on the reaction of the woman. And that was a bad way to go. So never chase women. We've talked about that before. Always make sure the women chase you. And with retention, this is a lot more easier than you think it is. Because you're focusing on your goals. You're focusing on trying to get the best high-value male you can get out of yourself under God's purposes and under God's, provisions. And as a result of that, females will be attracted to you. And then you'll know if a female likes you because they'll continue to try to be with you, do things with you, and you'll get signals. You'll get nonverbal signals, you get verbal signals that person wants to be with you. They'll show up, 2 o'clock in the morning at your house, whatever it might be. You have to control all that. And obviously we talk about the controlling nature because you could fall yourself right into the rabbit hole very easily and get yourself in deep trouble if you don't be responsible about the situation. A, you cannot be manipulating the young women or the women, period. And B, you have to be careful to realize that you're trying to establish a relationship. Now I'm talking about single people here. You're trying to establish a relationship with that person. Now, if it's your wife and you're married, also you're trying to communicate well with your wife and the person you're with, because that's the relationship you have. Now remember, you're with these individuals because they're helping you achieving goals you're trying to achieve. You're looking at it from a higher level, the more spiritual level. How are they encouraging you? Are they helping you? You should not be with somebody who's not helping with you. Now, let's talk about the actual communication you have. With a person who has a lot of retention, you're focusing then on looking at a confident person whose energy is just bursting. The aura is there. They're going to have trouble not looking at you. Now, as a confident person, you'll see yourself changing. When I wasn't in this state, I could remember lots of times where I could not establish eye contact with most people. And obviously, the more I did this and more I released at times, the less confident I felt. I felt insecure, anxious, all kinds of stuff, and I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until the last 4 years, and I think it's been almost like 1,500 days, maybe a little bit more now, that I've actually felt different because I'm looking at things in a whole different way because I'm more confident. And now what you can do is you can go ahead and look at people straight in the eye. And you can kind of look at them, not as a creepy type person, but you look at a person with confidence. Women love that because they can look in your eyes and they can see the confidence level. They can see the domination you have and the dominant person you are. And they're not, you're not saying anything. You're just kind of looking at the person. And when you're establishing eye contact, never be the one who drops their eye contact first. When you're looking at a woman, she is the one that has to drop eye contact. That will show that you're the dominant person in that situation. And women, even though you talk about all this crazy stuff that's going on now, the women are finding out this feminist movement is killing them because no man wants to be with them. Men are going to different types of ways of handling this. And there's a lot of women in their late 20s and 30s hitting the wall, and they can't find males because the males don't want them anymore, right? They're not going to put up with masculine women. They don't want masculine women. And this is something that you can see why. Because you don't want to go ahead and marry a man, right? Or have a long relationship with a man. And if the woman does not have feminine qualities or energy any longer, then you don't need that person. You can, then you got to move on and find somebody else eventually. This is why you see a lot of men going overseas, over different countries, to finding women as well. Because it's so easy to see that they don't have feminine qualities anymore. They're trying to be like men, thinking this is what men is attracted to. And they're so far from the truth, but they bought in. And I'm not going to, I love women. Women are wonderful. I'm not going to say anything bad about that. We've all been brainwashed. We've been all into that matrix in different ways. And all I can say is I feel bad for a lot of the young ladies out there who are still thinking that, at 30, 35 years old, that they don't have to change their expectations or ways of doing things. So the thing is, the communication, they're looking for people who are strong males who are going to be able to kind of talk with them. And so part of it is that with their success in the business world and things like that, they're going to look you straight in the eye. And a man has to do that. So if you're interested in that type of woman, you're going to have to communicate with them on that level. But the thing that we go back to in talking about this is that listening, communication, all these things become important if you figure out this person should be part of your goals. You're not looking for one-night stands, in my opinion at least. So because of that, you're just trying to either develop friends, connections like I do, or things that you're going to help you down the line in your goal setting, whether it's creating businesses. I'm 63, but I have lots of goals to do, have more businesses, make more money, keep in shape, spiritual type of goals with my creator, my God, Jesus Christ, all those type of things. And obviously family goals and things like that with my wife. All those things are important. As you focus on those things, the women become a secondary type of thing. Now that's very attractive as well. So this is why I say you're going to draw lots of people to you, because you're not expending a lot of energy on attracting people anymore. And non-verbally, women can see that. Most women, especially in their 20s, they're going to have so many men who are in their DMs and different things like that, looking at them, that they think the thing's going to be endless. Now they eventually find out it's not endless, and then they run into the wall we talk about. But the thing is, you as a male, as time is going on, you're getting better and better. Men in their 20s, I was there. That's a rough time for men. I understand that. Because there's no way you're going to compete with men in their 30s when you're in their 20s, because your career is just not at that point. So you're going to have to keep building. So you may not find somebody who's going to be a long-term relationship in your 20s, especially people who are celibate. Now, I'm seeing more and more women talking about this, and so you may see generations down the line to find women who are not going to be sleeping with a bunch of people, and they may be something to kind of look at more. But a lot of women in their 20s end up wanting to go out and party and having fun, all this this big life about working and having fun, partying all the time, and thinking that at mid-20s, 30s, they can go ahead and stop and have families. A lot of men do not want that. And that's where part of the problem in the communication comes in, is that when you're communicating, you have to kind of think to yourself, why am I in this situation? Now, if you're trying to network and you want to build businesses and things like that, women are wonderful. You can do that with. That's a great type of thing. Now, if you want to have a relationship with this person, then obviously you have to get to know them as a person. And so your whole communication language, you're going to see by their body language, their verbal communication, their listening. You're going to be able to focus on all those type of things to see if this person really likes you. Now, this is the key. They're going to probably show those feelings first. And you need to wait for that. In the meantime, get yourself into bettering yourself all the time, getting yourself better in shape. I realize it's kind of a frustrating thing because men are so used to pursuing women. But the day and age is changing. And because of the MGTOW movement and a lot of other things happening, men are not chasing women anymore. Especially because they're afraid of the Me Too, being looked upon as a creep, all kinds of things that can happen, lawsuits, suits and all kinds of stuff. Men can get themselves in a lot of trouble. So the thing is that, women say no, a lot of men are backing off. Now, women don't like that necessarily, but that's kind of one of those consequences of what's happened with all the Me Too movement. And even though it was designed, just like the feminist movement, designed for good things at the beginning, a lot of negative consequences are now, providing lots of negative types of things. And so these things are not happening that people expected. And one of the things that's happening is men are walking away. Men are doing their own thing. And because men are doing their own thing, women subconsciously become very, very attracted to them in many ways because they want to be part of it. Remember, men don't really need the validation. Women need a lot of validation. Men give them the validation. So when we talk about that communication between men and women, one of the things you talk about is that, men bring a lot of things to the situation, providing, protecting, things like that. And women, they bring a lot of things if they're focusing on the family, nurturing, all those things, taking care of their husband, all those old-fashioned things that we thought were gone that should really be revived and come back, because those are the things that women can provide. Now, if women are trying to be like men, then a lot of women are going to be by themselves, and even if they find men, they're going to find men that they have no respect for. The men are just going to be simps, do anything they want, and that's not what women want down deep. I've talked to so many thousands of women. They're expecting a man to be high value. These high value males are hard to find because a lot of them don't care and the communication about that. They don't care about what, they have other things that are going on. They have lots of options. They have things out there, and women find that very appealing and attractive. This is why a person with high energy gets a lot of women's attention, because there's lots of women interested in this. They sense it. You're like a Ferrari running around with all other cars around there. You're like a Jaguar running around. This is the thing that people see. So the communication has to be very purposeful in your behalf. And so now you can also then end conversations, which is the other part of this, is when you're not really happy with this situation, you can very easily move yourself out. You don't have to be mean to the person. You can basically kind of say that, okay, this is not working out, or we can be friends. Obviously, we've all been in a friend zone as a male. We don't like that too much, but you want to be honest with the person and say, okay, this is not something that I see going forward. because you're focusing on your purpose. Now, I would not ghost people. I think you have to kind of talk with them and kind of see how that is and how that works. But you can judge that yourself. All right, friends, enough of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. 2 things I always leave you with. 1, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number 2, guys, remember to battle on! All right, we'll see you guys later. Take care. Have a great day.